Today's story is about a man whose courage under fire became legendary. Alongside his teammates, he volunteered to be dropped back into a mountain ridge already swarming with enemy fighters in order to save a fallen brother in arms. Through relentless gunfire and deep snow, he pressed forward, clearing enemy positions and fighting against overwhelming odds. Even after being gravely wounded, he regained consciousness and continued battling alone while surrounded. This is the incredible story of Medal of Honor recipient, United States Air Force Master Sergeant John A. Chapman. John Chapman was born on July 14, 1965, in Springfield, Massachusetts, and raised in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. One of 4 children, he grew up in a close-knit family with parents Eugene and Terry Chapman. John excelled in both academics and sports. Soccer and diving were his strongest passions. He even competed on the University of Connecticut's dive team before deciding that college wasn't his path and leaving after a semester. Eager for purpose, he enlisted in the U.S. Air Force in September 1985. His first assignment after basic and technical training was at Lowry Air Force Base in Colorado, working as an information systems operator. But John wanted more than a desk job. He pushed himself to try out for INDOC, the grueling selection course for combat control and pararescue candidates. Known for its extreme physical and mental demands, INDOC weeded out most applicants. But in July 1990, Chapman and his friend Joe Maynor were among the rare few to graduate as combat controllers. Combat controllers are one of America's lesser-known special operations forces. These elite airmen operate in hostile environments, specializing in air-ground communications, directing aircraft in combat, reconnaissance, fire support, and rescue missions. Their motto, "First There," reflects their role in being the tip of the spear in battle. That same year, John met Valerie while on leave in Pennsylvania. The two fell in love and later married, raising 2 daughters together, Madison and Brianna. Chapman's assignments took him across the globe, from Pope Air Force Base in North Carolina to Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, Japan. By the early 2000s, he was considering ending his military career, but the tragic events of September 11, 2001 changed everything. He stayed in uniform, joining missions in support of the global war on terror. Soon, he was attached to Navy SEAL Team 6. In March 2002, he deployed with the SEALs as part of Operation Anaconda, a massive U.S.-led offensive against al-Qaeda and Taliban forces in the mountains of eastern Afghanistan. Their mission: seize and hold high ground on Takur Ghar, a steep and snowy peak in the Arma mountain range. On the night of March 4th, Chapman and the SEALs boarded a Chinook helicopter, call sign Razor 3. As the aircraft approached the mountaintop, it came under intense fire. Amid the chaos, Petty Officer Neil Roberts fell from the helicopter. The crew was forced to crash land several miles away. Determined to rescue Roberts, Chapman and the SEALs immediately prepared to return to the ridge. Thanks to real-time surveillance from a CIA Predator drone, military leaders could follow the unfolding battle. Chapman and the team were flown back and dropped just below Roberts' last known position. As soon as they landed, gunfire erupted from multiple enemy positions. Braving waist-deep snow, Chapman charged uphill and assaulted a fortified bunker. On his own, he killed 2 enemy fighters, clearing the position. Moments later, he and his team advanced toward a second bunker, even more heavily armed. During the firefight, Chapman was hit twice and collapsed. Believing him dead, the SEALs were forced to withdraw after suffering additional casualties, calling in air support from an AC-130 gunship as they retreated. But John Chapman was not finished. Against all odds, he regained consciousness. Severely wounded and alone, he picked up his weapon and continued the fight, holding off dozens of enemy fighters. He managed to make radio calls that were heard by other special forces in the area, though they could not establish two-way communication. Drone footage later confirmed that Chapman fought from his cleared bunker, engaging waves of enemy fighters. At one point, he engaged in hand-to-hand combat. Despite multiple gunshot wounds, he refused to give up, even covering an incoming quick reaction force helicopter with suppressive fire. By the time his battle ended, Chapman had sustained 16 wounds, including the fatal shot through his heart. His sacrifice is credited with saving the lives of 23 fellow Americans. Years earlier, he had written in his high school yearbook, "Give yourself before asking of someone else." On that mountain, he lived out those words. Originally, Chapman was awarded the Air Force Cross. 16 years later, after a full review of the drone footage and eyewitness accounts, his award was upgraded to the Medal of Honor. On August 22, 2018, President Donald Trump presented the Medal of Honor to Chapman's widow, Valerie, in a White House ceremony attended by his mother, Terry, and his daughters, Brianna and Madison. The following day, he was posthumously promoted to Master Sergeant. In addition to the Medal of Honor, Chapman received numerous awards, including the Purple Heart, the Air Force Commendation Medal, the Air Force Achievement Medal, and the Air Force Combat Action Medal. Master Sergeant John A. Chapman now rests at St. Mary's Byzantine Catholic Church Cemetery in Windber, Pennsylvania. His remarkable legacy is told in the book Alone at Dawn, co-authored by Dan Schilling and Chapman's sister, Lori Longfritz. Thank you for joining us for this story of extraordinary sacrifice. If you found it inspiring, please consider following and leaving a review.